But, hey, moving on, we got other quarterback news. Let's hop on down to Columbia, South Carolina. Man, you hate to hear this one. The Gamecocks struggling, but hey, they got the win. I know Gamecock fans are pissed off. I got them dead last in the power rankings. I don't know. I think they're playing so poorly right now, but hey, let's give them credit. They're finding ways to win. They've got 4 overall wins, and that's a hell of a lot more than a lot of teams across the country. Well, the rebuild continues, but the rebuild just got a hell of a lot tougher because Luke Doty, again, I know he didn't play that well, and Zeb Nolan came in here and saved the day. Maybe it would have been Zeb Nolan's job regardless, but Luke Doty out for the season. Shane Beamer announced here on Tuesday. Let's kick it over to Coach, who talks about that and Luke Doty's reaction to the news.
Update on Luke. He, like I said the other night, he re-injured his foot. So we've met with some specialists here over the last couple of days. He will be done for the year. He's going to have surgery this week. It's the best thing for him, short term and long term, is to get this thing healed up and get him back. From talking to a lot of people in this program, I had been told before the Vanderbilt game that he is one of probably 1 and 2, no disrespect to any other player, but one of the toughest players to ever play here at Carolina, along with Connor Shaw. And he showed that Saturday night. Appreciate his toughness and hate it for him. Hate it for our football team, but he's in great spirits. Just talked to him before I came in here. He was out at practice today, but he's going to have surgery later this week, get everything cleaned up and fixed, where he will be better long term and able to come back. Like I said, that'll shut him down for the rest of the season. And Zeb is our starting quarterback. Jason Brown, Colton, and Connor Jordan are our other quarterbacks, and excited about the way those guys have continued to progress and get better throughout the season. So,
with Luke, how has he handled this situation, and kind of how, from a timeline standpoint, do you anticipate him back for spring, or is this something that might keep him out a while?
Yeah, I think so. Kind of trying to get all that figured out right now. First of all, he's in great spirits. After I talked to you guys Saturday night after the game in the press conference, I went from that. Clint Haggard met me in the hall and told me that Luke had re-injured his foot. We weren't quite sure how serious it was at that point, so I went into the training room. He was in there with his mom and dad, and had a chance to visit with him and felt bad for him because I knew he had re-injured it. Didn't know how severe or long-term it would be, but you knew it was going to probably certainly affect his chances of playing against Texas A&M, and he's in there picking me up. I was disappointed for him, and he was in great spirits, all part of God's plan and bumping the road, and I'll be great for it. And his dad, who's awesome, just kept telling me great win, and just what a fantastic family. He was at practice Sunday night. He was in the offensive meeting this morning asking questions, as we installed the base game plan for first and second down this morning. He's in the meeting and he's engaged like he's the starting quarterback this week, which I appreciate. And then he was out at practice today. So he's in great spirits. I don't think it's anything that's going to affect him long term. Should be good to go, go through a rehab process, and we'll see how the surgery goes for more of a long-term thing, but don't anticipate it at this point being anything that's going to affect him really long term.
All right, so again, you hate to hear this. It's going to be Zeb Nolan. Jason Brown is QB2 now down there in Columbia following this news, but again, maybe this doesn't kill you because Zeb Nolan came in and played so well against Vanderbilt. I don't know how prepared they were for Nolan, maybe more prepared for Luke Doty, but we'll see. I think more than anything, and you're not looking this far ahead if you're Shane Beamer and the Gamecocks because you're just trying to get as many wins as you can this season to hopefully get to a bowl game. But this hurts you for next season is what I really think it does, because now we're going to, surely you can't bring back Zeb Nolan. I think this is his 6th and final year, and he's only got it because of the COVID deal. So next spring, we're going to have an even more heated quarterback competition, which I'm sure we would have had already, but you're going to have less knowledge, less film of Luke Doty to know what he's got. Jason Brown, if he comes back, Colton Gauthier, see what he's got. I mean, it doesn't seem like he's ready to see the field. So, the battle will commence this offseason there in Columbia, but really hate it for Luke Doty. Again, I know he's not playing that well, but remember, this is a guy that came into the program. South Carolina was desperate for help at receiver, and he's a 4-star quarterback. I believe he was number 6, 7 dual threat quarterback prospect in the country. And what does he do? He switches a receiver to help the team out. Then we have some quarterback issues. What does he do? He switches back to quarterback. I mean, this is a guy that, through and through, he does what the team asks, and he doesn't think of himself. So you hate to lose any player, but particularly a guy that is so team first like Luke Doty. Hope he makes a full recovery and can fight to win this job back heading into next season. And one other thing from Shane Beamer, I just thought this was great. Any opportunity someone has to troll Hugh Freeze, I am going to highlight you on this show. And he was able to do that. It's kind of a long-winded question here, but he was asked about the struggling offense and the play calling and all that. And Shane Beamer found a way to, at the end of this, troll Hugh Freeze here. So I love this.
Shane, I know people probably like to use the word blame, so that's not the word I'm trying to use here, so I apologize if it seems like that. But when you look at the offense and you're trying to just figure out what is it? What is it from holding back this offense in terms of making that progress that you guys want to see? And is it is it not just from a coaching standpoint? Is it coaching, playing? Is it everything? And what have you been able to look at watching the film the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, I mean, we've certainly got to be better, and we're 7 weeks in, so it's no more of, it's growing pains and things like that. I mean, we've got to have some continuity at quarterback. We've got to have continuity at the receiver position, running back position, staying healthy, and I know everybody wants me to sit up here and just say the play calling stinks, and that's the issue. But, the play calling on Saturday didn't cause us to fumble or turn the ball over 4 times. That play calling got us some explosive plays down into the red zone that we then fumbled. We threw 2 interceptions. The play call didn't force us to have holding penalties, and things like that. So we all have a hand in it, and that's not me blaming players. We've got to coach better. We've got to not put our players in position. But I think on Saturday, and every game, Mike, is different. You can look at blame and why we haven't operated at a high level, and it's all of us, myself, down the offensive staff, down to the offensive players, and every game is different. But I'll look back at Saturday. I don't think there was a play calling issue. Now, it may not always look pretty, and I'm sure I don't know what the message boards are saying right now, but I'm sure they're like nuclear right now about bad play calls. Well, I don't know what play calls were necessarily bad. Help me out. Which ones were bad on Saturday? We've got to be better fundamentally and technique-wise to not put ourselves in those positions. And, Marshawn fumbled the football. Well, at the offensive tackle position, we crossed over and had not great footwork and got beat inside, and Marshawn had to cut it back, and then a fumble happens. Poor ball security on a couple of fumbles. Gave a big play to Jaheim, that came back because of a holding penalty because we set a little too far on a pass set and got beat inside. I mean, just fundamental things that we can clean up, which goes back to us as coaches. But, I mean, that's been kind of the point of emphasis with our players this week is we've got to be better. Forget about schemes. We got to be better fundamentally, which is coaching. And that's what we're trying to do. But we got to be better everywhere, offense, defense, and special teams. We missed tackles Saturday. I don't think that was necessarily bad play calls by Clayton White. That was we got to coach up these guys better from a technique and fundamental standpoint to not miss tackles and give up explosive passes. And I don't mean that. I don't need fans now hitting me up on Twitter giving me a list of all the bad play calls either from Saturday. Like, that was a figure of speech. So, please, I try not to look at the mentions, but as soon as I said that, I can see it coming right now. But you know what I'm saying.
Well, that play call is going to have to get better in a hurry because they got Texas A&M this week. Let's jump it on down to College Station, and